Hello everyone, welcome back to the shed, and as I promised, here it is, the APT-E by Rapido in Intercity Swallow livery. Why in the hell is it in Intercity Swallow livery? Well, April Fools rolled around this year, and of course once again I'm late to the party. Not in buying this I wasn't, but making this video I am. So Rapido on their Facebook, they made a post saying, wouldn't it be funny if we did these liveries? Isn't that fun? This is a creative bit of artwork, and everyone going, bit of poor taste though. You've posted this after midday. And then they made the announcement that no, we actually have these in our warehouse, they're ready to go. So there's 200 of each. So there's the Swallow livery version, and you've got the blue and grey version like originally on the HSTs. There's 200 of each train pack, which means 2 power cars, 2 coaches, and so that's 200 of the Intercity Swallow, 200 of the blue grey, and only 90 of additional coaches. This is a weird move for me, and I think it's the stupidest move they could have made, because it's almost created artificial inflation. Because immediately on their Facebook post it said someone had ordered the train pack and 3 coaches. So immediately we've already shrunk the size of the way people are going to get these coaches. I think it took maybe a month until someone listed one on eBay for £145, which is £35 above what I paid for mine. So when did I buy this? I bought this at the beginning of April. They just come in stock at a model shop I was near while on holiday, which is Buffers of Axminster. I recommend you check them out, check their websites and their Facebook page. They've always got new stuff coming in, and they've got some great prices as well. So I went in, actually bought this in person. Once I was back from holiday I was able to run it. So how did I get my extra coach? I bought it, I managed to get the last one from TMC Model Centre. And I got it delivered to a friend's house, and of course he was very gracious in allowing me to do that. Thank you, George, by the way. And of course it's now been added into this to make a 5-car train. If this was the regular liveried version I wouldn't have bothered. I would have just gone with the 4-car formation as it was. Then again, that's not to say I'm not going to get an original liveried one. Now that I've got this and I know it can go around our layouts, it's mighty tempting, but I'll have to wait off a while. There's plenty of other pre-orders and wonderful things to be released into the worlds of model railways just yet before I get one of those, I think. So what's it like? Well, it's a Rapido APT-E. It's really well engineered. It's almost ridiculous in the way how they've managed to get all the connections done between the coaches. I'm not going to tell you how to suck eggs, take it apart, put it together, because it's in the instruction manual. Read the instruction manual, read it again, try it, and if it feels like you're doing it wrong, stop. Then read the instructions again. It cannot go wrong if you read all of the instructions. I read all the instructions, I got it home, I put it together on the layout, and lo and behold, it worked. So obviously something is correct in those instructions. The livery itself, of course, is entirely fictional. This never ran in Intercity Swallow or Intercity Blue Grey. It only ever ran in the silver and blue as we see it now in NRM Shildon. But even though this is a fake livery, it's very well done. I think this livery almost makes the front look even more like a baboon than it did before. It's really nice. The model is nice. It's got that tilting technology, but of course we've got such nice large radius curves on this layout. You can't see it massively unless it sort of leans into point work. Which brings me on to another thing. When you do get your model, or if you have bought one of these, lubricate the axles and check the back-to-backs. I had an issue with my back-to-backs, I didn't even realise, because the first loop it did, well no, the second loop it did around the layout, when I put the speed up a bit, it decided to derail on a set of express points, which was a bit disappointing, but I split it in the middle, rolled it over, checked all the back-to-backs, also did some lubrication because it was squeaking quite a bit. And after that, it has run perfectly. I have no issues with this model. Of course, the one issue many people are going to have with this model is the price tag. So you can only get these April Fool's-ish liveries, if you want to call them that, sound fitted. So you have to get them for £400. An additional coach, of course, as I mentioned earlier, will set you back £110. And of course they're getting harder and harder to come by because there's so far fewer of those than there are just train packs. Would I recommend getting an extra coach? It's nice to have that extra one because it's in this passenger style livery, but it is literally just another one of these coaches. Now, would I recommend that you get one of these? Well, if you're into that sort of eccentric oddball thing like myself, I mean, you can already tell that by the research livery stuff over the back. Half of that's my dad's, by the way. Happy Father's Day, Dad, a few days ago. You can check out a video on that rake over on his channel. I'll leave a link down in the description. This sort of appealed to me. I wasn't too sure whether I was going to get it, but the fact that the shop that was really close to me while I was on holiday got it in stock, it really sort of sealed the deal. I went, I know what I'm going to buy in there. Because the Swallow livery appealed to me way more than the blue-grey one did. I feel like there was maybe a bit too much yellow on the blue-grey version, but maybe that's just me. Would I get the blue-grey version to complete a set? No. I'd probably just get a normal liveried one without any extra coaches if I were to get another one. So I'm going to take the camera off the tripod and we can have a nice look at the interior of the coaches and have a nice close look at that livery. So here we are. Let's start at the front end. Of course, no actual number, it's just APT-E. I will note on this liveried version there's no actual designation of PC1, PC2, TC1, TC2, which is sort of odd, but anyway, let's have a look at that interior. It's really nicely done. And of course I would show you the other side, but I'm not going to take this apart just to do that. I'm sure someone on the internet has in fact done that. This middle coach is actually the extra one I've gotten. Comes with one single bogie, so of course it fits into the whole articulated thing very nicely. See all the sort of instruments and such in there. Really well done. And of course the only thing that put me off of buying one of these in the past is the massive overhang on the nose. You can see it there. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we had that first loop around the layout at slow speeds, and it didn't clout anything on this outer loop, including that lone signal over there. It didn't clout that. Very close to it, but it did not hit it. I've had no issues with it hitting stuff. I'd probably only ever run it on the outside loop, so no chances of it clashing into trains. But yeah, I suppose we should do the honours, even though there are plenty of videos on the regular APT-E. Get it started up, a few laps around the layouts, and then make a conclusion. So let's get to it. So let's take a look at the NCE power cab. We can see I've given it the address 3705, as in the in-service APTs were class 370, and 5 as in the 5th letter of the alphabet, E. So let's press 1, get it started up. Now of course most of this is from archived recordings, so that or similar, so this is probably genuinely what it sounded like. Of course it was a gas turbine unit, wouldn't necessarily say it was a loco. So let's sound the horns. and give it some power. So, there we are, Rapido's APT-E. You can certainly fly around the layout just like it did in real life. And of course it's nice to see these oddball liveries of what ifs. Not just that someone's drawn it onto the paper, it's that someone has actually applied it in real life in ready to run form. Of course we see plenty of these oddballs out there which have been custom done, but it's stuff like this that is really paving the way of allowing people to run these weird and wacky different types of trains in their own era they're modelling. Of course I do like the BR era enough in the 70s, so yes, I am now, of course, as I mentioned earlier, thinking of getting a normal one without an extra coach as it was when it was out in the main line. But this is a real standout for me. I suppose another example of something like this is KR Models. They're making the Leader, but they're also going to do it in liveries it never actually got, like lined BR Black, lined BR Brunswick Green, and BR Blue. Not as in BR Express Locomotive Blue, as in BR Corporate Blue, like Double Arrows Blue, which is bizarre, but of course there's a small market for that, so they've accommodated for it. They know they can draw in a number of people to get that, and of course, even though there are skeptics about this livery and the other April Fool's livery, there was definitely a market for it because most of these have been snapped up now. Of course, here's one of them. Would I recommend you get one of these? For the price tag, again, it depends what era you're modelling, and if you want something like this, which never really happened, on your layout. There are purists, there are people who never wanted to see something like this come to the light of day, obviously from the comments that were left on Rapido's Facebook page. But again, it's a product that's proving there is a small market for those who want an oddball, and maybe encourage people who didn't already have an APT to actually get one, like myself. I was holding my hands well away from it, because the main thing was I didn't know if it was going to clout anything on the layout when it's going around to that big nose overhang. But of course, as you've just seen, with it going around the layout full tilt, no, it does not hit anything. So in conclusion, it's a very pricey model, but what you're getting is a really well engineered, really well sound profiled model. It's a full train. You don't necessarily need those extra coaches for it to be historically accurate. You could pay 400 quid and you have got yourself a really, really nice sound fitted full length as it was train, which is almost unheard of nowadays, because of course you've got trains that are, I don't know, at least 4 coaches long, and then there's something else, and there's a loco as well, and then you've got to sound fit the loco, and then it all adds up. So it's probably actually around the same price as doing all of those bits, but then you don't have to worry about sound fitting itself or sending it off to someone. You can just go, here's £400, I'd like a sound fitted train, I suppose. Would you really call this a multiple units? It's got 2 engines, it's got multiple coaches, it's a fixed formation. Yeah, kind of. Would I recommend the whole thing about extra coaches? I did it because otherwise I'd never see a chance to get an extra coach. Are there any extra touches I would have liked? I think the only extra touch I would have liked is, and I know this is asking a lot because it's such a small run of models, some different box artwork maybe would have been nice. It's just the same usual stuff they have on the normal one. Of course it's got the different product code on there which lists what it is, but I'd say that's my only thing about that. Maybe some different packaging to represent, yeah, this is a special, you know, thing. I'm sort of going around in circles here but saying different things, so I should probably conclude the video. Thank you for watching, and I hope this maybe encourages you to either get a normal APT-E or one of these special ones if you can still find one for sale out there. I'm not sure what or when the next video will be. I'm suspecting the next thing that will arrive through my letterbox, well, not through my letterbox, but on my doorstep, will in fact be the Acura Scale Deltic. So until that video, I'll see you guys next time.